Thanks, Candace. We can call our county council meeting for Thursday, October 17th to order at, and then everyone gets talking, right? At 9:31 a.m. this morning. In the true spirit of reconciliation, we acknowledge all those who call this land home now and for thousands of years in the past. May we respect each other and find understanding together and recognize the benefits that this land provides to all of us. We have one time commitment today. We have an 11 a.m. delegation, and I just want to just acknowledge Councillor Slump had a previous engagement, had some travel plans set up before he was elected, so just a happy anniversary to Kevin and his wife as they're en route today on their travels. With that, I do have a couple of proposed amendments to the agenda. I will add one item of business under new business. We'll just have a portion of the CAO update in a public session, and that'll tie into some of our marketing discussion as well. We'll just add that as item I1. And then we will add an additional item under closed session, item 4, RMA board appointments for discussion. And is there anything else you'd like to add, Cole?
No, thank you, Reeve Campbell. That's everything.
Okay. Any other additions, deletions of the agenda? If not, Klaus?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move the agenda as amended.
Thank you, Klaus. Klaus has moved for the adoption of the agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? Call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Adoption of the minutes. Before you, you have the County Council meeting minutes of October 3rd, 2024. Are there any errors, omissions, any issues arising from the minutes? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that the County Council minutes of October 3rd, 2024 be accepted as presented.
Thank you, John. John has moved for the adoption of the County Council meeting minutes of October 3rd, 2024 to be accepted as presented. Any discussion? Call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We can move down then into our subdivision applications. We have 2 subdivision applications today. Start at D1, subdivision application 2024-0127, MS McLean Livestock, Lot 2, Block 5, Plan 221-1230 within the Northwest Corridor, 61020 west of the 4. Good morning, Hillary. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Council. This first subdivision that we have for today is subdivision application 2024-0-127 for MS McLean Livestock. They wish to take a first parcel out of the northwest 61020 west of the 4th. The parcel they wish to take out is in the dry corner, and it would be a 3-acre parcel. This is located just to the north and slightly west of the town of Coaldale. And north of Egmont Lake. That's probably a little bit better of a descriptor. With that, it does meet all of the subdivision criteria as outlined in the county subdivision criteria in the land use bylaw, and I will let Steve go through the planning comments and the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. This first application in front of you is fairly straightforward. The applicant landowners applied to take a first subdivision out of the quarter section. It's for a vacant parcel in the very northwest corner. Exists adjacent to your municipal road allowance. There's already an existing approach in place up in that northwest corner. As you can see from the diagram, the parcel is kind of triangular in shape. They're angling it on the southeast side to account for the irrigation pivot on the adjacent agricultural land. As part of the review of this application, there's no provincial identified constraints or issues with the proposal in regard to environmental or abandoned gas wells or those sorts of things. There is a poultry CFO operation just situated a little bit to the west. Based on their permit for 97,000 broilers, an MDS of 160 meters is required, and there is over 490 meters exists between the proposal, so it meets and exceeds the MDS required. So as part of the application here and the referral, there was no objections or concerns received. Since I sent you out the initial package, we hadn't heard back from all the utility companies. We've since heard back from ATCO Gas, ATCO Pipe, TELUS, and Fortis, and none of them have any objections or require any easements on the application. So on that basis, as a 3-acre, which is your maximum parcel size for a vacant parcel, the proposal complies with your land use bylaw subdivision criteria. Back in 2013 land use bylaw update, the county had reintroduced the policies to allow for a vacant parcel again. So it does comply with the criteria. And on that basis, I have recommended approval to you with the conditions that the taxes are paid up to date, development agreement entered into if the county requires it, their final plan of survey be submitted, and that in accordance with the land use bylaw subdivision requirements for a vacant parcel, they would have to perform a soils analysis on the 3-acre parcel to confirm on-site septic suitability of the land. And then the 5th was just with the easements, which we actually don't require anything on that. But with those conditions, I've recommended the approval to you.
Steve, I would open up for any discussion or any questions you might have. John?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just in reference to the soil analysis, if this comes back where an on-site septic system, the soil is not suitable, are there alternatives that would allow the subdivision to proceed?
Possibly. Chair, in response to Councilor Corbett's question, yeah, the initial preliminary does just a couple test pits just to see what the soil is like, if there's a high water table, what might work based on the parcel. If sometimes if the first test shows there might be issues, the second test might say, well, this other corner over here is the most suitable location for it. But usually the reports will identify if there's something present that it absolutely is, only a pump out, holding tank and pump out can work, and no on-site treatment ground at all. But typically they'll offer options and say, well, that the owner's aware that due to high water table or the type of soils present, or if they're too sandy, that perhaps only a mound system can work and you can't have a traditional infield or that sort of stuff. So then it, depending on the report, it identifies, whether perhaps they need extra land added to the parcel where they do more tests to find a suitable site, or whether they're just aware at the development stage building their house of what they have to pay attention to type of thing. But they always will have to do a subsequent test at the time they build their house based on the size of the house and how many bedrooms and water closets and that sort of thing are on the actual dwelling proposal. So.
Good, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that subdivision application number 2024-0-127 be approved, subject to the conditions as outlined in the draft resolution.
Thank you, Mark. Mark has moved the recommendation that subdivision application 2024-0-127 be approved, subject to the conditions as outlined in the draft resolution. Is there any further discussion? I'll call the question. Those in favor? Those opposed? That's carried. Item 2 under our subdivision application 2024-0-131 Horvath, Lot 2, Block 1, Plan 1410472, and Lot 3, Block 2, Plan 2310062 within the east half, 26-921 west of the 4. Hillary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This next subdivision application is located just to the north and east of the city of Lethbridge. They are wishing to reconfigure 2 adjacent titles, being just over 47 acres down to 12 acres in size, and consolidating the agricultural lands to the directly adjacent agricultural lands, as you can see in the pictures in your agenda package. As this is a reconfiguration of titles, it does meet with the county's subdivision criteria to reduce the size of the original yard. That was approved, I think it was 2021. With that, I'll pass the rest of the planning comments and the recommendation to Steve Hardy.
This next application in front of you, you might have some recollection of from a few years ago. The current title for the 47.54 acres was actually an application that was refused by yourselves as the subdivision authority about 3 years ago. At that time, it was recommended to the applicants to just apply for the smaller yard portion. But they had applied for the entire 47.54 acre parcel. That was refused by yourselves as the subdivision authority. The applicant later appealed that to the Provincial Land and Property Rights Tribunal, where the current title was approved on appeal by the Provincial Appeal Board, which was the title that's currently exists. So hence here, some about 3 years later, the applicants have come back and they wish to reduce the parcel size just to the very eastern kind of yard portion, and reduce the title down to 12.71 acres, which is likely what they would have been gotten approval from you 3 years ago, likely, maybe. But anyways, they want to reduce that, and they want to take the west portion, which is comprised of 34.84 acres, and subdivide it off and consolidate it to the south agricultural land. There's been a change in ownership. There's a different landowner on that south portion of the agricultural land who's interested in purchasing that and extending irrigation and pivot into that area and have it part of their title. So a result of the subdivision consolidation will result in them having a 203.11 acre enlarged agricultural title size. With this subdivision consolidation, the yard itself and the reduction will exclude that kind of dugout portion on the east side, or sorry, west side, I should say. That will remain with the agricultural portion. The yard itself does contain a dwelling and some other improvements that will remain on that smaller 12.71 acre parcel. With the reconfiguration, the servicing won't be impacted. The septic field is just situated west of the dwelling, and it will remain within the confines of that smaller 12.71 acre parcel. So this application, on the referral, there was no objections or concerns received on the proposal. We were required to send it to Historic Resources because it's adjacent to some land that's identified as a potential archaeological category of 5A and a 4A. But Alberta Culture has responded, and they have no concerns, and say that the applicants do not have to apply for historical resource clearance. So this application, because it is an application of a reconfiguration, realignment of two adjacent titles, we're starting with the two titles. The larger 47.54 acre country residential title, and then the agriculture title to the south. And in the end, with the reconfiguration, we'll still have two titles, but the one will be reduced in size to the 12.71 and the other enlarged to the 203.11 acres. So there'll be no standalone extra title created. So on that basis, it does comply with the county subdivision policies for reconfiguration of titles. So on that basis, I have recommended approval to you, and that would be based on the conditions that the taxes are paid up to date, development agreements entered if required. The third being the most important condition, and that's with the plan of survey by an Alberta land surveyor submitted that does the reconfiguration and relines the boundaries so that there is no standalone title. It's all one contiguous title. The fourth condition was for the utility agent easements. We have heard back from TELUS since I sent you the package, and they don't require an easement. So with those conditions, I've recommended the approval to you.
Thank you, Steve. I will open it up for any questions or discussion council may have. Go ahead, Lauren. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So it looks like they're going to, Well, what they're asking for is have the dugout portion be brought back into the agriculture portion there. Is that a normal way of doing things? Because, I mean, is that really an agriculture portion that there? And my second question is, what is their source of water if they put the agriculture, the dugout into the agriculture portion?
Yeah, the Chair, through Councillor Vandergree's question there, that the turnout, they're going to irrigate that portion of that west that's being consolidated, expanding their irrigation system into that area. So the applicants currently that the turnout for that system is up in that area. The SMRAD in their referral back on the application is that the household will just have to enter into a domestic household agreement for the smaller parcel, and the the irrigation rights of that piece, whatever, can go with the other piece because it's going to be an agricultural piece, whatever like that. But that area wasn't necessarily used for the yard, but it was used to supply the water to the west agricultural portion.
They had a
right,
wheel
right.
move
Yeah.
there for that portion. I think that's where the dugout was used for that, the wheel for that portion.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Lauren.
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. So is this land in 2 quarters? Like, where's the quarter lines there?
This land, thank you, Councillor Hickey through the chair. This land has been obviously subdivided a number of times over the year, and the quarter lines are a bit scrambled, to say the least. So obviously with 203 acres, there is a split on the quarter lines. I think the split is right, sorry, I'll zoom in just a little bit here. You can kind of see there's the quarter section line up here, and then another one kind of in the middle. So it's split between two quarter sections.
This is an area where it had some old history, and they had some stacked 40-acre parcels in this quarter, and then over the years, the boundaries between them have been moved around. As you see, I think at the very south end, there's this one down here. It's one of the, I guess, the historical last pieces left there with that.
I think if you zoom out, you can probably see the quarter lines quite a bit better. Or
I don't have the
it's all
GIS map
GIS.
is not working, sorry.
Oh, fair enough. They are visible on the location
Ah,
sketch.
there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So you can kind of see where it's situated. There's the southwest corner and the northwest, but you can see all along here, it's pretty much a jumble of where the quarter section lines are, so.
Yeah, over the years, what we've tried to look at is as a section and how many subdivisions rather than individual quarters, because of the, and look at it based on that entirety. I think the very south one actually is a 60-acre
It is,
parcel, which is a little bit for the jog there. But yeah, it was a long time like that. It's just been odd.
Any other questions? Go ahead, Lauren.
I would move the subdivision application 2024-0-331 Norbath for lot 2, block 1. With conditions.
Thank you, Lauren. Lauren has moved the recommendation. The subdivision application 2024-0131 be approved subject to the conditions as outlined in the draft resolution. Is there any further discussion? Call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Hillary, are you okay to, if we move down to, we have a couple first readings in our development and infrastructure, F1?
Yeah, that is
If we
fine.
start at F1.1, bylaw 24-017 to redesignate plan 171-1734, block 2, lot 3 in the southwest 14922 west 4 from direct control bylaw 1456 to direct control bylaw 24-017 first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this bylaw for first reading, being bylaw 24-017, is to redesignate this parcel that is currently zoned direct control. County Council approved this direct control, the existing direct control zoning, back in 2016, I do believe. And the direct control at that time was to accommodate a lumber yard, which obviously never developed on this parcel. The parcel has since been sold, and the new owners wish to put a place of worship and accessory uses on the parcel, which would mean that they would have to rezone the parcel. I did recommend to them to do a direct control just because they had a few of additional uses, such as potentially having a school and a like a seniors type of home or center on this particular property. I suggested the direct control as a means to be able to accommodate those specific uses. So that is what they applied for and have submitted to, for County Council's consideration. With regards to this application, it has been circulated to all the county departments, the City of Lethbridge, the Town of Colehurst, and external agencies for their review and comment. I will provide all of the comments that are received at the time of the public hearing and for your consideration in deciding on this particular application. As this is first reading of the bylaw, this just sets up the for administration to be able to advertise and send out the notices of the application to the affected and adjacent landowners. With that, I have recommended first reading of bylaw 24-017 be approved today.
Thank you, Hillary. Is there any questions or discussion from council? Go ahead, Laura.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So which type of direct control is it? Because last time we had one of these, it was direct control was to planning department.
Mhm.
Is this to council or to planning, or have you determined that yet?
So with this one, I kept the same approval that was on the original direct control. And so the delegation of authority is that administration would be the approval authority on the permitted uses, and that county council would be the approval authority on discretionary uses or any waivers. So similar to what we had done on the last direct control we did.
Any other questions for Hillary? Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move that bylaw 24-017 be read a first time.
Thank you, John. John has moved first reading of bylaw 24-017. Is there any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you, Hillary.
Thank you.
We have one more first reading, I believe. Bylaw 24-013, amendment to the Edgewood Stables Area Structure Plan, bylaw 1362, first reading. Hillary?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is an application to amend the existing Edgewood Stables Area Structure Plan. This area structure plan is located directly to the north of the City of Lethbridge on Township Road 9-4. Originally, it created a number of lots in the east side of the development, but left the where there was the existing horse stables as sorry, I'll pull up a better map. There we go. So the area to the east was all subdivided into acreages, and the west area was left as the horse barn / boarding stables area. The lands have since then been sold, and the new owner wishes to facilitate the further subdivision of the area where the horse barn and stables were located into 4 lots, so going from 1 lot into 4, as you can see on the map that I have up there. In order to do that, they did have to create an amendment or propose an amendment to the area structure plan to allow for the new lots, ensure that the drainage stormwater management system was adequate, and address areas to the north where there was the coulee slope. So they have done that in this particular amendment. You can see to the north, they had to adjust the property lines to have more municipal reserve on the north, and to ensure that there wouldn't be any development within the coulee slopes, so it's well set back from there. So with that, this has been sent to the City of Lethbridge for their comments and any external agencies for review. all of which will be discussed or presented at the time of the public hearing. I have recommended that first reading of bylaw 24-013 proceed as drafted, and that so that we can send out the notices to the adjacent landowners and also do the advertising on our social media and the Sunny South News. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Hillary. Any questions? Go ahead, Klaus.
So with that one, with the coulee there, was that engineered so that they will not have the danger of having anything slump in that area?
Thank you, Councillor Van der Veen, through the chair. Yes, so they did an updated geotechnical report. So yes, it has been stamped by an engineer saying this is the development setback, so that no development can encroach into the coulee slopes.
Further?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is the old Jarvie riding stable, isn't
I
it?
do believe so, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Arno.
No, I was just gonna make them move it.
Perfect.
I would move first reading of bylaw 24-013, and that's the amendment to the Edgewood Stables Area Structure Plan.
Thank you, Lauren. Lauren has moved that bylaw 24-013 be read for a first time. Is there any discussion? I'll call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hillary. I see, Devin, you have lots of pretty pictures for us. So maybe if we could we take maybe a short 10-minute break, and we'll come back at 10 after 10, and we'll resume on our All right, let's do this thing. We will call the meeting back to order at 10:11 a.m. this morning, and we can move in our agenda to item F1.3, capital projects update. So through some feedback from council and in discussions with the CAO, we're always looking for ways that we can improve communication between administration, council, and then through council to the public. So thank you to Cole and to Devin for putting this together for us. And Devin, I will let you take it from there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Council. So this report and the attachment provides an update as of the third quarter of 2024 on the ongoing capital projects within the county, outlining their progress, challenges, and any significant changes. A breakdown of each project, including timelines and budget status, is included in the attached document. The purpose of this update is to ensure council remains informed on the status of these projects. And as this is the first update report from the department, we would also like to discuss with council the preferred frequency and content of this update to council. We can maybe get into that after I've provided my summary update on our projects. So I've provided a bit of a detailed status update on each project. I've also provided a summary on page 1 of county capital projects and page 2 of regional projects. I'll go through those summaries in a high level, and if there's any questions on specific projects, I can address those individually. So starting with the county capital projects, the Eastern Industrial Transmission Pipeline, otherwise known as the McCain Pipeline, is going very well. The project is progressing ahead of schedule and on budget. Currently, the contractor is nearing the final stages of the project. They are close to the McCain facility, where things get a little bit tricky as we have to access private landowner property to install the pipeline. We have to cross CPKC's railway line. We have to maneuver through Alberta Transportation's right-of-way. We have to go under the SMRD main canal and then tie into the McCain site. So New Edge is currently in that area working right now and managing those challenges appropriately. We have no concerns so far with the progress they're making, and are quite happy with what they've been completed, or what they have completed so far. The next one, the admin building roof replacement, that project is completed and in the warranty phase. As you all know, that one was a little bit behind schedule, and we had a challenge with the heat in this building for a while, but that one is finished and in the warranty stage. As well, the McNally Road reconstruction, that's just,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So what does the yellow in the graph mean?
Oh,
Does that
sorry.
mean anything? or-
So basically, green is ahead of schedule, yellow is kind of on time or a little bit behind, and then if it was red, it would be significantly behind with consequences of that schedule delay. And I've also got an impact to the public as well there. You can see between low, medium, high, and all that is indicating is due to basically the construction of this project and the impact it has on the public. That's the severity of the impact to the general public. Moving on to the McNally Road, that was also wrapped up this year. It's completed and in the warranty phase. I'm really happy with how that project turned out. Now, that project was a carryover from last year. We weren't able to start construction last year because we had a delay in utility relocates. Fortis had to move some infrastructure, which took a lot longer than anticipated. And so that one was pushed into this year, but Tallstrip Construction finished that job not long after our 60th anniversary celebrations out at the McNally Community Center, and it looks great. The Rave Industrial Park, that one too is nearing completion. It's pretty much wrapped up. I had a final inspection on it yesterday. There's a couple minor deficiencies that they're looking into, but that project is pretty much wrapped up. That one again started last year, got carried over into this year. There are some challenges definitely in that industrial park with accommodating traffic, and because that industrial park does not have any shallow utility easements, all of the infrastructure is in the roadway, so there was a spider web of shallow utilities in there that the contractor had to work around, which caused some delays. But again, with that one, I'm really happy with the end result, and you guys will be touring that or driving through on our council road tour on the 25th, so you'll get to see it. Then we get into some bridge file replacement projects. So 79589, that is completed and in the warranty phase. 79601, the tender is awarded, and we're just in the pre-construction phase, and I anticipate construction will start up on that one in January. 70758, we're just in the service procurement phase of that project, getting proposals in for engineering services. And then 79230 repair, that is our major bridge we have in the county by the CPKC marshalling yards that goes over top of the tracks. That's that repair project, and that is in the detailed design phase and tender prep phase currently. And then we go to the Westview Road cement stabilization. So that is technically in the construction phase, but they have cement stabilized the entire stretch. They have completed the double chip seal with sweeping operations being conducted recently, and line painting to be completed within the next few weeks. So that one will as well be wrapped up shortly. Shaughnessy Lagoon and road upgrades. So we did apply for an AMWWP grant for this project, which covers 75% of eligible costs, which is the wastewater works and the lagoon works. We were not successful in receiving that grant, so we are going to reapply again this fall in the hopes that we do get that grant, because that'll result in over $800,000 in grant funding that we otherwise wouldn't have, and scheduled for construction in 2025. The desludging, although not part of the capital project, is nearing completion as well, so the lagoons will be queued up and ready to go for the rehab work next year. The Broxburn wastewater treatment, so we have been working on that project as well. We were looking at a mechanical system, and we were actually looking at doing something rather innovative and reusing wastewater. So the intent was to take that wastewater from the industrial park, treat it, and put it into the raw water reservoir for use for firefighting or using in toilets and stuff like that. We had several discussions with Alberta Environment and Alberta Health Services, and at the end of the day, it looks like they're not too keen on approving wastewater reuse. It's not something that's really done in Alberta. It's done in Eastern Canada quite a bit, but there isn't specific guidelines detailing on how that can work in Alberta. So we tried to be innovative and put in a water reuse system. But we are running into some challenges with regulatory approval. So we're still pursuing that with Alberta Environment and Alberta Health Services, but we're also looking at design alternatives to meet current guidelines for wastewater discharge. The Park Lake Road overlay, that project is completed. That is in the warranty phase. Again, that project was, I'm quite happy with the results of that project. So now we have from the Highway 25 up to Highway 519 is seasonally banned instead of permanently banned, because previously it was permanently banned up to the Park Lake entrance, and now that entire stretch is only seasonally banned. The Mountain Meadows slope failure, so we are going to re-tender that project in January 2025, and in the meantime do some interim measures just to ensure there's no further regression of that slope. And the reason we're re-tendering in 2025 is the pre-qualified contractors that came out to the mandatory site visit indicated that they are rather busy this fall, and if they were to bid, prices would be astronomically high, and they didn't want to submit a bid on something that, bidding twice what it should cost, essentially. So in discussions with the contractors, the consultant, and with Cole, we decided that our best course of action is to put that project on hold, tender it in January 2025 for spring construction, and in the meantime, we'll place some Lego blocks at the toe of that slope failure to ensure that further regression doesn't proceed up the slope or laterally as well. So we look to complete that in the spring of 2025. And then finally, the bulk water fill access control and monitoring upgrades. So that is basically the hardware and software at all of our truck fill stations. As you are aware, we are having issues with our CompuTrol system. We've had several occurrences of fill stations just not working, utility invoicing issues, and several other issues. So right now we are in the material procurement phase. All the equipment is being ordered and programmed and will be shipped to us shortly. We are also working on a implementation and communications plan, so we ensure that this system is fully functional, fully operational before we go live to the public. Both systems will be run in parallel, the existing and the new system, and we are going to test the new system rigorously to ensure that when we go online, there are no issues on site. So that is it for the county capital projects. I'll briefly go through our regional projects that I'm currently working on. So the Horsefly Spillway, Phase 1 is complete. That's the section from Tabor Lake to the Old Man River. Phase 2 is in the land acquisition and engineering phase. That one is a little bit complicated because there's ties with the Highway 2 twinning, or the Highway 3 twinning project. And so there's some coordination with the province on that one. And then the Phase 3 tender is awarded and construction will commence in the irrigation off-season, which is going to be coming up shortly here. Malloy Phase 2B, so that contract, it has been awarded. That's the redeployment of the raw water reservoirs and conveyance piping from the Cottonwood Pond in Coaldale. I did have the pre-construction meeting was scheduled for October 15th. That has since been delayed, and I'm just waiting for an updated date on that. But that one will be commencing, I would imagine, within the next couple months as well. And then the South Coaldale Stormwater Management Facility, so we did receive additional grant funding for that project. That is another stormwater management pond just south of the Cottonwood Pond in Coaldale. And I will be presenting that as a capital project during our budget deliberation meetings. And then we've got a few studies here. So there's the regional water concept development study and the regional wastewater concept development study. Those are both in the data acquisition and engineering phase. We have had a couple meetings with MPE and the regional partners on that, and now MPE is working on some conceptual designs, and we will be having follow-up meetings with them to review throughout the process. And then finally, the accessibility to water through enhanced irrigation network study. That ACP grant has been submitted to the province, and I'm quite confident we will receive those funds and start on that study in the new year. So that concludes my summary. If there's any specific questions council has, I'd be happy to address them.
I just want to give you a comment, thank you, Mr. Chairman, that really happy that we're doing this, because I think this kind of keeps us up to date on where we are with a lot of stuff, and because we do get some questions from ratepayers. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a couple of questions that come to my mind. The Mountain Meadow slope failure, is that on the north side of the road going down to the river bottom, or where is that one? Because we
It's on-
fixed the one on the south, right?
It's on the south side. It's actually below the previous project. Project extents. It's towards the bottom of the toe of the slope, adjacent to the ditch, where we had a bit of a slough there. The portion that we fixed previously is still holding up well. It's the lower portion that is starting to fail a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's an ongoing thing there. It doesn't look like it's gonna be stabilized anytime soon, or it seems to be you do something and then the issues come up again.
Yeah, so with that one, I wish I had the map I had up for, I did bring this to council, and I had a bit of a schematic done up where it showed the previous failure and it showed where this failure is. So the previous failure was quite a bit upward on the slope. This failure is below there, and the thought is because the material in that slope had been saturated for so long, it's slowly leaching out. It's kind of drying out and coming out from the bottom and causing a little bit of a failure on the bottom below the previous works. And the plan to remedy that is to actually build up with granular material, to have a free flowing layer through there into the ditch, and to hopefully prevent any further failures in that area.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of comments, and I know we'll move into the frequency after, but one of the challenges with reading this report, and this report's very detailed but very manual to provide. One of the other challenges where Devin's highlighted the risk from a color coding in the schedule, scope, budget, and then public impact is the way we currently approve capital projects, and we're going to try and make some changes in the budget process to fix this. We scale up for all of our projects at the same time, so they get, even though other future projects get approved in principle, those budgets aren't approved, so we don't start those projects. So what happens is following the budget approval at the end of December, then in January, from a workload management and capacity standpoint, we have all these seasonal projects and I'd say development and infrastructure, but it's Devon that has to go out and we get started with procuring a consultant. We move through design development. There's discoveries, and then we're trying to jam all of these tenders in the same time in a very short seasonal window. So a lot of these that even show that the schedule is behind, we've intentionally made those decisions, whether it was in design or pre-tender, once we have that information. But there's such a short window that you make those commitments financially, and then we've got the cash flow expenditures. And while some of those funding sources carry over, we don't do accruals, so we've got that assigned. We're trying to get everything bucketed into that calendar or our fiscal year. And so one thing that we need to look at is the ability to manage these projects on more of a macro schedule basis and approving some of the design funding for future years so that we can commence that work ahead of time so we can provide more accurate forecasting and execution, which should lead to better pricing and better workload management for projects, where we can provide more consistent updates. So it just becomes a bit of a challenge because we hit the ground with 15 or 20 projects all at the same time, and then it looks like this project's a year behind schedule, but as soon as we got into it, we knew it was going to be behind schedule because we discovered something, or we commenced conversations with consultants, and then we find out what's happening this year. So just take some of those risk factors with a grain of salt and know that we're going to work towards being in a better position with more accurate designs ahead of time as we move into the budget cycle. So those just aren't reflective of our true ability to manage those projects, and those are very intentional decisions for the most part. Not to say that some exceptions don't apply, but I don't want to look at that and say, hey, we're 360 days behind schedule, and that was just a result of something that happened in the project. Those were intentional decisions made at that time. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I do appreciate the report. I think it's a great thing to bring to council and to keep the public up to date on this. The other question I had was on the Westview Road, and have they redone it again? Because I was down it a while ago and it was pretty rough. So they relayed the cement stabilization, or?
Yeah, so they actually came in with a profiling machine and shaved the surface off and got it nice and smooth. And they tried to kind of fix it with that first layer of chip seal, and I drove it and I said, there's no way this is smooth enough, guys. You gotta get this better. Bring the profiler down and mill that top inch off to get it nice and smooth. So they did come back down. They profiled the top inch, got it as smooth as they could, and then came in with the double chip in behind. So it should be a lot better than if you were on it a month or so ago.
Devin, what are your thoughts, or Cole, what are your thoughts around the frequency? Like how, I guess, in your minds, what is the best way to capture, change progression while not overburdening you guys, but still being able to deliver something to council that, there's no point in bringing this back in a month or 2 months, and if it hasn't changed, like, in your eyes, what do you think is a reasonable balance?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Devin jump in, but maybe I'll just introduce that. We talked a lot about that because I know that council's request was to have more frequent updates on the capital projects, but the majority of this work outside looking in as we move through design development and we do the pre-planning to design development to tendering, from an impact standpoint, there is no change, and that will be the majority of that work is happening behind the scenes. And so I think the other challenge with this, and we can deal with one-offs differently, is most of the work is seasonal, and most of our work occurs in that spring and to fall schedule. So what our thoughts were at some point in the spring to have an update, because we'll have some design done, have an update, let's say in April or early May. Here's what's happening. Here's kind of the schedule. Here's what we're looking at for the season. And then we'll have some last minute additions, some urgent things or some discovery things, that projects that may be added. Maybe sometime in September would give another beneficial update. What's the progress so far? What's upcoming? How are we closing out the season? Is there anything else? And then we would just treat one-off projects, or if we had a major project or initiative that fell outside of our standard routine, we could address that separately. To do it even bi-monthly, there's going to be a significant period of time that there's just effectively no change to what's happening from, at least from the outside looking in on those projects. Is that fair, Devin?
Yeah, I think you hit it. Yeah.
Okay. Council, what are your thoughts? Any comments, concerns, I guess, with this, or any project-specific questions, or just on the presentation, the update in general? Coach on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I like, I like the detail of this report. My question is, from a frequency standpoint, is it possible to just get you know, even a bi-monthly, just a quick, hey, these are the projects that are undergoing? You know, not anywhere near this detail, just a understanding for council to say, you know, for example, the McNally Road, and just say, hey, the McNally Road project's undergoing, it's on schedule. You know, something very quick and simple like that, you know, where we get a 5-10 minute update, rather than having you go through and do this type of detail on a bi-monthly. I can understand where that would consume way too much of your time. Your time is much more valuable in actually managing these operations rather than just putting together a report for us. But
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through the chair to Deputy Reeve Kurbis, if we did discuss that, if we were going to do something, let's say even bi-monthly, if it was the first 2 pages of this report and we just reported on any progress or what's changes, so we don't go through every project line by line, but if it's just the schedule, scope, budget, impact, and Devin was to present and say, hey, we've made some progress on these 3, or the status has changed from design to execution, or this, I think we could do that, and it would be a fairly quick update though, but at least you would have, at face value, you would have those 2 pages to at least see and see if there's any high-risk items that we need to discuss. Would that work for council?
from my point of view, I was thinking something even more simplistic than that, just saying on schedule, off schedule, very simple. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those first 2 pages really, that's not challenging to keep updated. Like I know it's more detailed, but it would be the like how many days behind that, like the subsequent pages are probably the more manual.
Yeah. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think that, personally, I think twice a year, unless there's something extraordinary happens, is more than adequate. I think if we knew going into the spring what you're working on for the spring and summer, that's great. And then a report like this in the fall, when it's all wrapped up, that's fine by me. But if there's something extraordinary happens and look, we have this issue, then you could bring it to us. Otherwise, I think this is great.
Go ahead, Austin.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move that the county council receive this report as information.
Okay. Clause is moved to accept the capital projects update for information. Is there any further discussion? I'll call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much, Devin. Thank you very much, Cole. I think if we can, wherever we land, I do think this is, I think as you outlined, Cole, or maybe you did, Devin, to have it, the more robust one, if we could have it leading into this season. And then, like you said, probably around, this time or a little bit earlier, as I think Lauren's point. And then how you guys approach that. I think if there was something, maybe a little more Cole's notes throughout the summer, maybe once or twice, maybe, I don't know, is that something, if that, I think we're flexible. I think we overwhelmingly appreciate the information that's here and how it's presented. I think even like to Lauren's point, just having it at the beginning of the season, it just kind of lays it out for us what our expectations are, and yeah.
Just for clarity then, so if we plan to do this more detailed twice a year, spring, fall, and then a couple times through the year do just an abridged, and we'll just split that on kind of both sides between, does that work? Okay.
I think that's agreeable. Awesome.
While we're on the topic, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to ask this because it will impact how we approach. one of the challenges that we've had with our capital projects is because we approve them line by line, a lot of times we'll come back to council and it's, hey, we need a little bit more funds for this project. What's not captured is that this project is less money and we can shift those funds and we can bucket by funding source. And so one thing that I've done in the past is that we approve projects under, as part of that budget, and we have to prioritize to make sure that all of those are executed, but it would allow administration to push and pull within those parameters to execute the aggregate, to say for X amount of dollars, we're gonna get these 5 projects done, and we need to deliver those. If our plans and scope go beyond that, we absolutely would come back to council for that discussion, but we wouldn't have to bring back every single one of those. And sometimes there's a scope impact change that makes a lot of sense that might save us money on the next project in that bundle. And so having the flexibility to do that allows us to react a little bit more timely and probably receive better costs by being able to manage some of those or bundle some of those in that way. Would that be something council would be open to? We can report on the individual projects. We have, be absolutely transparent there, but just our ability to manage and administer those would look a little bit different if we approach the capital budgeting process like that this year. Is that something council would be open to?
Any thoughts, comments? I understand the approach, and I think I do anyways. I appreciate the approach. If that's something that where you say you think you can, leverage some things and have that be at a benefit to the county, I could live with that. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would concur. I mean, if it's a matter of, if we're doing bridge work and we have some savings on one, but another one's going over, it sort of makes sense to look at that as an aggregate. I mean, the only thing that would come out of it is that we couldn't give Devin a hard time every time he has to come and ask for more money.
Fair enough.
Never said we would never ask for more money, but
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I would agree. I think it's just called best management practice. And if you have a total budget of $5 million and you can have a project that's a little over and the next one's a little under, as long as it don't go over the 5, I'm quite comfortable with that.
If you wanna.
We'll come up with something from a reporting, so there's still transparency on individual project, estimates complete and what the actual costs are, and so that council does receive all that, but we'll just package it a little bit differently this year as we go through capital, so thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Devin.
Thank you.
We move down, we have 2 items under corporate services. F2.1, we have the St. Joseph School sponsorship request, esports program development 2024. Good morning, Kurt.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Kurt, could I ask a favor? Would you be able just to introduce yourself? We had a counselor that maybe wasn't at the last meeting, and if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Curtis Curzan. I recently started here just over a month ago. Previous to that, I worked as an auditor and evaluation specialist at KPMG here in the city.
Thank you. Maybe you'll have to do it again because this council was
John, have you met Kurt?
No, the whole county.
We'll run it back. I was just introducing myself. I'm Curtis Curzan. I've been here for about just over a month now. Prior to this, I worked at KPMG here in the city as an auditor and a valuation specialist.
Welcome.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
Perfect. Mr. Chair, I'm presenting today a donation request from St. Joseph School in Coaldale. The request is to assist in the development of their esports program. It is administration's recommendation that the council deny the request based on County Policy 161. However, council does reserve the right to issue a donation if they so choose. A little bit of background information on esports. Esports is a competitive play of specific video games that requires dedication and a high level of teamwork. Esports is a growing international industry that will soon exceed all other sports organizations in both participation and viewership. St. Joseph School is requesting a $2,000 donation to go towards the total funding for the purchase of computers and other equipment required for the esports program. Attached here is a business plan or proposal from the school that outlines a little bit more in detail the total budget of what it would cost for the computer equipment, but as well what benefits the program would provide to the community. I'll draw attention to the recommendations section where we have included the donation policy section 1 on eligibility, specifically for programs and events and activities that are non-eligible, youth and adult sports teams and associated programs and events, activities and school reunions, and programs, organizations, events, and activities that receive support through the from the county through other programs and policies. Additionally, you will recall earlier this year, Colehurst High School requested a similar donation for their esports program, and upon the grounds of Policy 161, Council denied their request.
Thank you, Kurt. I'd open up to council for any discussion. Claus?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I concur with the recommendation that administration made here, because I think it's where's the end with this one, and I think that we should deny this. So I'll recommend that the county council deny the request for funding from the St. Joseph School esports program as per County Policy 161.
Thank you, Claus. Claus has moved the recommendation the county council deny the request for funding of the St. Joseph Schools esports program as per county policy number 161. Is there any further discussion? Go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In denying this request, I hope administration can convey to them that it's outside of our policies and not that it has anything to do with the merit of the program.
Thank you, John. Any further discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
We have one more item under corporate services, next under administration, F3, F3.1, request for sponsorship, Agri-Food Innovation Expo, November 26th, 28th, 2024. Good morning, Maddie.
Good morning, Council. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have received a request for sponsorship/partnership for the 2024 Agri-Food Innovation Expo to be held at the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Center next month. Sponsorship levels range from $2,500 to $20,000. Administration has reviewed each option and determined that a silver partner sponsorship would be a good fit. This sponsorship includes an exhibitor booth, 6 passes for the event, multiple areas of recognition, an item in delegate bags, and sponsorship of one of the nutritional breaks. I also had a discussion with some of the organizers who indicated that we would have the opportunity to have our recent local business videos shown on the TV screens in the Agri-Food Hub during the event. Administration was planning to purchase a booth at the event anyway at a cost of $950. However, just the booth registration does not include additional registration, which are $75 for a single day and $150 for the full conference, should members of council wish to attend. So this event, a little bit of background on it, focuses on bringing agri-food businesses together with experts and other organizations to learn how to grow and diversify their operations. Topics include sustainability and agriculture with the Whole Leaf CEO as a panelist. Whole Leaf is located in the county, as you know, as well as retail growth and export strategies, marketing, food safety, HR practices, and more. Previous council direction, I believe it was maybe the last meeting or the meeting before, council provided sponsorship for another agriculture-related event, the Canada's Outstanding Young Farmers event at $5,000. As Alberta's most productive agricultural community, Lethbridge County is also home to a growing number of agri-food processors. So providing sponsorship to this event could show the county's commitment to our agri-food industry, as well as our support for innovation and sustainability in agriculture. Therefore, the recommendation that council approve a silver partner sponsorship for the Agri-Food Innovation Expo at a cost of $7,500.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thank you.
Maddie, is there a funding source that's been identified for this, or a potential funding source, I should say?
I believe it's the councilor's discretionary reserve, which I believe has a $115,000.
I was mistaken, it's 158,000 in the council discretionary reserve.
Thanks, Maddie. Any discussion from council? Go, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only question I had was where we were proposing the money to come from. So that being covered off, I would like to move that County Council approve a silver partnership sponsorship for the Agri-Food Innovations Expo at a cost of $7,500 from the council discretionary fund.
Thank you, John. John has moved the recommendation that council approve a silver partner sponsorship for the Agri-Food Innovation Expo at a cost of $7,500 to be funded from the council discretionary reserve fund. Reserve. Okay. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Lauren.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So has this been in Lethbridge before?
Councillor Hickey through the chair, I don't believe so. I believe this might be the first year, unless
My
anyone has any
understanding
other
is this
knowledge.
will move back and forth between Red Deer and Lethbridge, and last year was the inaugural event in Red Deer, and this will be the second year, but the first year in Lethbridge. Does that sound right, Cole?
That's correct, yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll call a question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thanks, Maddie.
Thank you, council.
Correspondence. We have two pieces of correspondence. First from Alberta Municipal Affairs. I'll just, dear Chief Elected Official, so this is dated October 2nd from the Office of Minister of Municipal Affairs, Rick McIver. Dear Chief Elected Officials, the Government of Alberta is increasingly concerned about the federal carbon tax's impact on municipalities. For the provincial government to better understand the pressures municipalities are facing and advocate to the federal government on your behalf, we are requesting that all municipalities share data relating to the impact of the carbon tax on your operations. I'm inviting you to share your municipality's feedback through this online survey, which will be open until 4 p.m. on the 9th of October. So I'm guessing that we either did or did not participate in this. I do find it a little bit rich that the province is so concerned about the impact that the carbon tax has on us. I would suggest maybe they focus their efforts on the impact that the downloading of provincial policing and other things such as insufficient LGFF and STIP funding play on municipalities. But that's just my personal opinion. Item 2, the Legion Remembrance Day Parade and Service. This was forwarded to me last week as well. I have already RSVP'd that I will be attending the Coaldale event at Jenny Emery. So I would be looking to council, if there's anyone on council who's interested to represent the county at the Legion's event. The Remembrance Day Parade and Service on Monday, November 11th. You're asked to be at the Agri-Food Hub and Trade Center no later than 10 a.m. and then move to Trade Hall C. Is there anyone, sorry, Plus?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be attending the Picture Butte one, so I
Okay.
will be available for this one.
Go ahead, John.
Go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say I would be available to attend for that. But is it excluded to just one?
I think we just need one person to place the wreath, but attendance can be as many as we'd like, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say I would go, but that's okay.
Okay, you okay to communicate that, Candace? Go ahead, Morris. Did you have something?
Is that the week when we were supposed to be in Edmonton?
No, the after, week after. We're
Week
there,
after.
yep.
Yeah, I'll be going to the one at Picture Butte then too, for sure.
Okay,
But yeah, we was gonna later read, but as long as we have it.
okay. And then we can move down to our county council and committee updates. And why don't we start in Division 1 with Councillor Lauren Hickey. Lauren? Oh, sorry.
Okay, on September the 4th, I went to the FCSS meeting, and it was also the executive director's review, and he passed with flying colors, and he's a great guy and doing great work. September the 5th, Lethbridge County Council meeting. The 12th was the Town of Nobleford open house, and they did a very nice job in renovating the old Green Acres building there, which they purchased from the Alberta government. It's a really nice office. Did a really good job, and FCSS is in the southwest corner of the building in 2 rooms there. On the 18th, the Green Acres Finance Committee meeting, the 19th, the Lethbridge County Council, and 20th, Foothills Little Bow, and the 25th, the Green Acres Board meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. For Division 2, the 5th County Council meeting, the 6th Mayors and Reeves. The meeting on the 6th was quite entertaining. The attendance of MLAs and MPs has waned quite a bit, but this was well attended. MP Shields was in attendance and talked at length about some of the issues they're having on the federal level, how the Conservatives are pushing the Liberals on a couple fronts, and it was encouraging how they're trying to get some stuff done, I guess outside of party lines, and it sounded like they were making some traction on some fronts, but it was appreciated that MP Shields was there. I will give credit to MLA Hunter. MLA Hunter attends probably 90 to 95% of our Mayors and Reeves meetings. Definitely the strongest attendance record for MLAs, so just a thank you to MP or MLA Hunter for that. Always comes, usually takes a pretty severe beating from the members that are there, but Grant sticks around, takes the questions, and do appreciate Grant being there to listen. On the 18th, had our monthly EDL meeting. The 19th, Lethbridge County Council. The 19th, Chinook Arch Finance and Personnel Committee meeting. 20th, Foothills Little Bow meeting. 23rd, Reconciliation Day flag raising. 23rd, also did a short media interview with the Lethbridge Herald around economic development in southern Alberta and the region. And on the 28th, I was invited to bring greetings to the War Brides and Families 13th Annual Reunion, which was at the Sandman. It was a very nice event. There was one War Bride in attendance. She had just turned 100, calls Raymond home, still lives relatively independently, and she got up and shared some stories about what it was like to come to Canada with her new husband and make a new start here, and just some of the challenges and how thankful she was of the opportunity that Canada gave her, and I believe over 40,000 other war brides that either married a soldier that was training here in Canada or married a soldier that was on the ground in Europe or on one of the other battlefields and came back home. So it was a nice event, and thankful for the opportunity to represent the county there. Division 3, Councillor Mark Sayers.
Thanks, Reeve Campbell. September 5th, County Council. 7th was the Iron Springs Parade. It was a lot of fun. Morris and I were there with Cole, and we had some grandkids and kids there, so they had those smaller parades I really enjoy and appreciate getting out there. 12th was the Town of Nobleford open house. That was a good opportunity to sort of network with some of the other elected officials in our region. And like Lauren had said, they've done a really good job in that new facility, and their new office. So thank you for them for inviting us. September 19th council meeting. The 20th was Foothills Little Bow, and the 23rd was the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation flag raising.
Thank you, Mark. Division 4, Deputy Reeve Kurbis.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My September was relatively uneventful, other than my regular meetings with Community Futures and a meeting with Prairie's Can representative, which is part of the role as my chair of Community Futures and the county council meetings. Outside of this, and this will fall in my attendance for October, I just wanted to put a shout out to Southland Trailers, because I was fortunate enough to present the Business of the Year Awards at the Lethbridge Chamber of Commerce as my role was the Chair of Community Futures. And it went to our own county what's the word, constituents, I guess would be the word I'm looking for, and Southland Trailers won the award. So it was a very good event, very well supported by community businesses within Lethbridge and Lethbridge County, and I was very proud to present one of our residents' businesses the award personally. So thank you.
Cool. Thanks, John. Division 6, Councillor Klaus Vanderbeen. Klaus.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. My month of September was very eventful, and we had a great time, and we've seen a lot of family and everything like that. And but I guess my duties for the county were limited to just the two.
Thank you, Klaus. Division 7, Councillor Zeenstra.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, September the 4th, Link Pathway meeting, and it's going great. September the 5th, Wisconsin Council meeting. September the 7th, we have the biggest parade in the county down there in Iron Springs, and it was great. Mark was there too, yes. And the September the 12th, the town of Nobleford open house to the new administration building. Well, it's not a new building, but it's new to them. However, I found out a little later on, I left, I'm not sure what time I left, but I hear they called a meeting afterwards, and I don't know why, we were never told that they wanted to have a meeting. Do you know anything about it? September the 25th, there's Littlemore Municipal Association, was good month. September the 23rd, National Day for Truth and Reconciliation Flag raising. That's fine.
Thank you, Morris, and thank you, Council. We have an 11 o'clock delegation. Maybe we'll just do a short recess for maybe 3-4 minutes if anyone needs a quick break, and we will Okay, thank you, everyone. We'll call the meeting back to order at 11:03 this afternoon. We'll move to item E in our agenda, delegations. E1, we have the County of Lethbridge Community Learning Council with us today, and I would throw the floor to you, Melanie, and if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Melanie Patnode. I'm the Executive Director with the County of Lethbridge Community Learning Council, and I wanted to thank you for allowing me to have some time to speak today about who we are and what we are doing out in the county. So we are a community adult learning program, and we are a group of community organizations that provide adult literacy and foundational learning, and there are 80 of us across the whole province. So we focus on literacy, which is the ability to identify, interpret, create, communicate, compute, and use printed and written materials. We also focus on adult foundational learning, and foundational learners come to our CALPs to learn and develop basic skills in one of these categories of literacy and foundational learning. So we do classes with adult literacy, numeracy, skills for learning, basic digital skills, English language learning, and community capacity building. So foundational skills are all those skills in which every other skill is built upon, such as reading, writing, numeracy, digital, and problem solving. And foundational learners that come to us often experience economic, social, and or other challenges that may interfere with their learning. And at least 1 in 5 Albertans face daily literacy and numeracy challenges. And numeracy is the ability to use, apply, interpret, and communicate mathematical information and ideas. So the CALP vision, which again is Community Adult Learning Programs, we aim to change lives through adult foundational learning in connected communities. So our program is funded and supported by the Government of Alberta. We are a nonprofit society, and we operate on an annual grant from Advanced Education. So the history of our CALP, so since the 70s, the Government of Alberta has supported these community-based adult learning. With CALPs, Alberta Education invests approximately $18 million each year to support the delivery of adult literacy and foundational learning, professional development for staff, and volunteers to foster the advancement of community adult learning. So our individual adult annual grant is $122,842. So the purpose of CALPs are, we aim to be the first point of access for foundational learners. We provide a non-threatening, flexible learning environment, as well as raising awareness and creating a culture of learning in communities. So we help foundational learners often see themselves often for the first time as learners, and we help to build their confidence so that they can acquire the new skills that they need to continue on their learning journey. And as these learners use their new skills in their daily lives, these skills are then acquired more permanently, which allows the individuals to pursue further learning, have meaningful employment, and then fully participate in their community. So Alberta's adult learners have a wide variety of cultures and traditions which shape their attitudes toward learning. English language skills are essential for newcomers to settle in their community, thrive in the workplace, and to become full participants in society. So our CALPs are well positioned to respond to diverse learning needs through adaptable programs and supports, which are made possible through strong partnerships and the coordination of services. So literacy and foundational skills, they have a significant influence on life outcomes, the ability to learn, one's health status, civic participation and social engagement, economic performance, and involvement with the justice system. So community adult learning programs support Alberta's rural and economic development by coordinating with local businesses to identify learning gaps and by tailoring these programs and services that we can offer. This allows communities to take control of their learning potential and attract more settlement, investment, and development. So just a little bit about our CALP. We were established in 1974. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary earlier this year. We have dedicated volunteers that sit on our board. We currently operate with 2 part-time staff, and we serve all the following communities: Barons, Colehurst, Iron Springs, Nobleford, Shaughnessy, Coaldale, Diamond City, Monarch, Picture Butte, and Turin. So for partnerships, we welcome any opportunity to partner with local agencies, schools, business, and other service providers to ensure that our learners receive the support, resources, and education that they deserve. And we find these partnerships also help us make our grant dollars go further. So we serve our communities and learners by using our grant funds to run classes and reduce barriers. So we can subsidize or cover the costs for our programs, and we try to keep the costs as low as possible. We're not making a profit on these at all. We offer free childcare for some of our programs, and we can also help our learners cover some mileage costs if they have to travel to another community to attend a course that they need. We also offer learner support services. So we assist individuals to transition to programs and services that will help them meet their learning goals. So we provide information about post-secondary opportunities. We can do coaching and mentoring on how to access and use information and resources. We create a safe and welcoming environment for learners to be connected to community supports and services. We help learners fill out forms. We can provide access to and assistance with basic technology, and we can also lend out computers if necessary. We provide referrals, and we also help with resume support and job searches. We also have a volunteer tutor program where we match a volunteer from our community with a learner in need. And this is a free service that we can provide because of the generosity of our tutors who donate their time to our program. And we also offer tutor training opportunities for them throughout the year to support them as they help our learners reach their goals. We can also offer family literacy programs, and these are activities that build on adult skills and promote values and benefits of literacy for the entire family. We aim to increase their own literacy and foundational skills, which also strengthens daily literacy activities for all the family members. We are also part of Books for Babies program with Chinook's Books for Babies. This is a free program where babies receive books that, at their 4-month immunization, and we have a dedicated volunteer that spends many hours putting together these book bags for us. And over the years, she's done about hundreds of them for us. Last month, we were announced as the recipient of the Council of the Federation Literacy Award for 2024. The awards are presented annually in each province and territory to recognize the excellence of educators, volunteers, learners, community organizations, and businesses in many areas, including family, Indigenous health, workplace, and community literacy. And this is a little video of an example of our impact. Well, I'm not sure, will it play? Or... Oh, thank you. Can't see that. Oh, yeah.
May just not be able to hear it here. Let me just get the volume.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, thank you.
Hello, my name is Agatha. I would like to talk a little bit about the school I go to. We had a lot of fun and we learned a lot. They are all very good at explaining. They have a lot of patience with their elderly people. And what I really appreciate is that they have childcare. I'm really excited to go back to school for this winter. And for the Christmas party and all the good food and fun. And we also have a coffee break every day. And they are always very helpful with everything. Thank you.
That was our friend Agatha. Just two more things. I would just wanted to share, thank you for always sharing our information in the community, or the county crier. That really helps get the word out for us. And that we are also looking for a volunteer treasurer. So if anybody knows of anyone who'd like to join our board in that capacity, we're looking. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Melanie.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, how would you characterize the demand that you're seeing? Does it ebb and flow, or do you see it increasing over time, decreasing over time, or is it kind of a moving target?
It's kind of a moving target, but we have, especially in Picture Butte, we've doubled our class offerings because it's just grown so much and the demand is there. So, yeah, we have full classes on Tuesdays and Wednesday nights in Picture Butte, and then we have a lot of learners trying to attend as many classes as they can throughout the county. So we had an individual yesterday attend both nights in Picture Butte, and he's willing to drive to Coaldale to take another night. So.
That's awesome.
And then we sometimes have some businesses, mostly in the agricultural sector, that will contact us to provide learning opportunities for their employees. So sometimes they will cover the cost of the class for their employees, and we'll hold it on site so that they can just go straight after work and take those classes. So sometimes that's a great partnership if they don't have to pay out of pocket, and then our dollars can go further because then we're not paying for facility space if the employer's providing that for us.
Awesome. Is there any, John, go ahead. And then Lauren.
Thank you, Mr. So how many students do you guys normally have on average?
So last year, for our grant year of September to June, we served 101 learners.
Okay, and the other question I have for you is, what is the cost for the student to attend?
Most of our classes, we try to keep between $25 and $40, depending on the length and if there's childcare. But as I mentioned earlier, if that proves to be a barrier, we'll just waive it, and it's not a problem. So if we, if someone asks how much a class is and we can see them, balk or hesitate when we say the price, then it's, like I said, not a problem for us to waive that.
Thank you. Lauren?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just wondering, Lincoln Barons, do you use the old school there? Is that your educational?
We did, but they've gotten so large that they don't have room for us anymore.
Oh.
So we were paying some ladies, this lady, in fact, is from Barron's as well. Her children attend that school, but she was coming to our class in Coaldale and Shaughnessy. And we would help her pay her mileage, and she would bring some other ladies who couldn't drive with her. So we would help her with that. So again, we sometimes face limitations on facilities, because for this class in particular, we always need 2 rooms when we have daytime classes for women, and then another room for the children and childcare. So it can be cost prohibitive for us, and then also just availability in some of the communities to get 2 rooms at a certain time.
Quick question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, what is the ages of the people that attend these classes?
So because we are with advanced education, we can only serve people 18 and over. So the majority, I would say, are in their 30s, 30s and 40s.
Sorry, Lauren.
Thank you. And how often do they have to go to a class? Like, is it once a week or twice a week, or?
Most of
how
our
does that-
classes are once a week.
Once a week.
But like I said, sometimes they're attending multiple nights. So in Picture Butte, for example, we're running 2 nights a week out there. And some people attend both. And then that one gentleman wants to come to Coaldale for the 3rd one.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in to update us today. Congratulations on the Council of the Federation Literacy Award. And thank you for everything you do.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can move down to the addition, the new business that we had added. Cole has a brief update for us. Floor is yours, Cole.
Thank you. Well, I don't want to steal Kelsey and Maddie's thunder, as they've done all the work, so I'm going to let them introduce kind of where they're at and the update on the marketing and communications strategy, where we've partnered with local businesses to both highlight the region, highlight the diverse activities and business that occurs within the county, and build engagement with our residents. So this is just the start of many of their efforts that have been underway for quite a while, and they wanted to showcase a couple of the videos here.
Okay, all right. Maybe let's start with a little gem, like the full one. Yeah, we'll do that. So.
Little Gem Winery is a local winery in southern Alberta, one of the few south of Calgary. We want to bring forward good quality fruit wines that are not sweet to the marketplace. So we make 5 different types of wines and 2 ciders. So along with that, we built the tasting room in 2023. We can do tours of the winery and self-tours of the orchard. And we wanted to have people come out, enjoy some wines with some local foods, some charcuterie boards. So we're going to tie everything down to local so people learn more of the ag community we live in and try different products. When we started the winery here, we have our products, but we said how can we promote the other products within Lethbridge County, but also the surrounding counties. And that's why we like to bring in our little store area and have as many local products from local producers to offer to people. So we chose the hand scups because of the health benefits of them. and just a great taste of them. So Hanscaps are dark blueberry, they're oblong in shape, similar color of blueberry. With land being so expensive, we wanted to try and grow a crop of higher value off the land we have. So we came across Hanscaps. We were planning to make wine as a hobby already, but then we said, how can we make something that connects with people? And that's when we came across the idea of starting to make a fruit wine. Running a family business has its challenges, but it's a lot of fun because families usually are on the same page, the work ethic's there, but also you're just enjoying with the siblings. It's not just good time at home or on the weekends, but it's also your time of the day you enjoy with them, having that quality time together. The county is very specialized in what they grow. We have a wide range of different businesses and agriculture in the county. I think that is really neat being part of that and growing in the county.
Welcome back to this US Open.
So yeah, so Little Gem was the first one that we launched. And then actually just on Tuesday, we did Whole Leaf. So I'll let Kelsey play that one.
So Whole Leaf started in 2017, 2018, and it's a 5-hectare, or about 11-acre site. We produce almost 20 million heads of lettuce a year, and it's kind of new to the Canadian market. So the controlled environment ag lettuce is about 3% of the market. The rest will be coming from the field, but this is new varieties from Europe that are amazing. Last longer, grown close to home, close to our market. So within a day, we can be pretty much with most of our customers in Western Canada, but we do ship across the country and into the U.S. More and more, controlled environment agriculture is dominating the grocery store. The lettuce is, I would say, its infancy in a controlled environment ag like this. So there's lots of runway, and we're pioneers in it. Whole Leaf is a place that anybody can feel welcome. So there's a role for everybody here. We also have a very multicultural and diverse workforce. There's all kinds of backgrounds here, and it's a place that everybody can feel welcome.
I've been in the lettuce industry for more than 2 decades, and one of the main things in the lettuce industry is you always see ahead what is the next variety that you need to put on that. So we are doing trials every time. We have a nice group of growers with multidisciplinary knowledge, but also they interact with a lot of people in the greenhouse, operators, and data analysts. We collect a lot of information to make decisions.
Made a lot of advancements in varietal changes, worked very closely with seed companies from around the world. And there's many things that we've worked with that we're taking forward as we advance into the future with Whole Leaf. In this greenhouse, it's 365 days a year. The lettuce doesn't stop growing, and we don't stop harvesting. Every day we would be producing probably 50,000, and on an annual basis over 20 million heads of lettuce. We also supply major food service operators, so it's ending up in restaurant chains. Actually, this lettuce you see here is ending up in Wendy's. We pride ourselves on our dedication of our team members because through thick or thin, they're here, and we're all committed to growing.
So yeah, those are the 2 videos that we've released so far. We have filmed, I believe, 9 businesses throughout the summer. So it was a pretty busy summer for us, but it was great. All of the businesses were so gracious with their time and kind of giving us a half day to come in and shoot. And yeah, we've seen really good results on social media so far. We're really pleased. Organically, all of the posts have done pretty well on their own, and then we've put a little bit of ad spend behind the videos. I have some statistics here. So the Whole Leaf one, like we just launched the long form one this week, so it's still growing, but the Little Gem ones on Facebook, two of the reels that we did out of the 3 reached 10,000 people, had 10,000 views, which is really good. And then on Instagram, which we just launched this year, it's still growing, but we've kind of seen that steadily grow since we launched it, which is exciting. I see like one of the reels here, 7,200 views, 7,000 views, so they're doing quite well on Instagram as well. We've found that a lot of people have kind of discovered our Instagram through these videos, which is great. So yeah, we're kind of experimenting a little bit with like kind of how we're posting, you know, how we're advertising and things like that. So we're kind of hoping to see this video series grow kind of as we move through it. But yeah, it's been great so far. So I don't know if council has any questions or comments or anything, but.
It's awesome, Maddie. Like, the Little Gem one, you know, I thought it was just how you guys rolled it out with the kind of the short teaser to start with, and then the full one afterwards. I thought that was great. I know on LinkedIn, like it just seemed like a monster there for a bit, and it was awesome. I think it just really took off, and they look so clean and just really professional and great. Like the production value is off the charts. Do you have an idea of like how you like to roll them out moving forward? Like you said, you had 9 shoots. Like what is your thoughts on how we roll those out moving forward?
So we're planning to do one business a month. So we've kind of been, yeah, I guess with Little Gem, we did do the teaser first. And then with Whole Leaf, we did the full length one first, just to kind of see what the performance is like. And so I think maybe after this month doing like the full length and then the 3 like shorter ones after, we'll maybe see what the performance is like, and we might go back to doing the teaser for the next one and then the long form afterwards. We'll maybe kind of have that discussion, but that's good feedback to have, that you like the kind of teaser first and then the long form. But yeah, the plan is to do kind of one business every month. We've kind of got a tentative schedule here, and then kind of trying to match the business with kind of what time of year makes sense for them as well. We've done a couple that we did film them this summer, but it kind of makes sense to maybe feature them more in the spring or kind of towards next summer. We just filmed at the Corn Maze. Doesn't really make sense to feature them over the winter because they're not open. They don't have anything really going on, so we'll kind of wait to do them towards next summer. So yeah, just kind of trying to be a lot more intentional with like how we're posting things on social media, what we're posting, just trying to increase that engagement. And I think we've already seen some really good changes with our engagement on social media. So I think these videos are helping quite a bit. So.
No, it's awesome, and I think just overall, I do think it's been very noticeable, the change in the brand and how we're being presented, how we people are seeing us. I think it's very noticeable. There's a consistency and just again a professionalism, a quality to it that I think is off the charts, and I love that it's serious, but there's also somewhat of a cheekiness to it, and it's fun, and I think it plays well, because I know I've had lots of comments of just people that didn't know you guys were on this platform or that platform, and it's fun that there is the the education portion, the public facing announcement kind of thing where we're just communicating information, but then there's also, like I say, some content and some fun to it too. So overall, I think you're doing a great job, and it really looks great, and I think we've really elevated.
Thank you.
Is there anything from council? Any thoughts, or is this the first time everyone's seen these? Have we seen these before, or? Yep. Go ahead, Sean.
No, they've been showing up in my social feeds as well, so I've seen the Little Gem one 2 or 3 times pop up, so it's, yeah, I think it is a good showcase of our businesses and what we do here as well.
Thanks, Kelsey. Thanks, Maddie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Cole, did you have anything else for now, or?
No, I think everything else is
Okay, so with that, I believe that brings us to the conclusion of the public portion of our meeting. We do have a tentative closed session with 4 items for discussion. So with that, I would entertain a motion to enter a closed session. Lauren? Lauren has moved to enter a closed session at 11:28 this morning. Any discussion? I will call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to move that the County Council appoint Rana Koopmans as our new member to the Chinook Intermunicipal Subdivision Development Appeal Board.
On the Regional Emergency Management Partnership Agreement. Sorry, Candace, yeah, sorry, that was my fault.
Okay.
You good, Candace? Sorry, that was my bad. Sorry, John, floor's yours.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to move the county council approve entering into a regional emergency management partnership agreement with the Village of Barons, Town of Colehurst, Town of Nobleford, and the Town of Pitcher Butte.
Thank you, John. Is there any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Is there anything further? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Wow, you're quick. 12:38, Morris has moved to adjourn. Any discussion? Call the question. Those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.